Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mysticraven. All right, guys. So, playing a little bit of Defiance 2050 on PlayStation, and I'm going to kind of give a critical commentary to the game about the pros and cons to the game. The game could be great if, and there's a couple of ifs here that could turn this game, completely around. And not a lot of big changes, actually. Small changes could make this game such a contender. First off, let's go over the pros. Dynamic events. Tryon is probably one of the best companies at implementing dynamic events for their community. Hands down, the game is great with dynamic events. Like the arc falls in this game are great. It really pulls the community together to interact and to have a common goal put in. Now, with that being said, one of the lacking parts is the rewards. So if I get Scrib, right, which is currency in the game, really there's no player market. There's no player vendor. Say I get a mod that I'm not going to use. One of the big ifs is being able to sell mods that I may not need. That would give more relevance to the in-game currency. So, by putting something as simple as an auction house in the game, you could potentially see... Oh, okay, I'm here by myself. That's not good. Okay. See what I can do here. I might die. I love the AI too. The AI is well done in this game, well thought out. I love the classes, how they play. I feel like they're well contributed, very simple, but yet, effective. See, this guy is really good. Uh-oh. I love the laser sight. I love this game in so many ways. There's a lot of pros of this game.
Looks like they brought some backup. Get ready.
I love the different grenades, the firearms. Whoa. Dude just did a friggin' hook kick on me. Grenade accuracy could be improved upon a little bit. Reload feels good. So many things in this game I really do enjoy.
Looks like they brought some backup. Get ready.
I know, yeah. Oh.
I'm detecting a catastrophic reaction in that arc fall. It's going to explode.
Okay, I like these. I love these arc falls. I love the dynamic events in the game. It's well done, very well thought out. AI responds well. The gameplay is really good in this game. I mean, overall, it's really well done. Now, one of the biggest things about it to me is, like I said, the scrib. Put an auction house so players can sell mods that they're not going to use. That gives more purpose to the scrib other than, the, default, market that's available. Just put an auction house in there. Not just something I'm dumping off stuff. Put player auction house. Because that's a really good perk to this game. Adding different mods that you can sell and earn and give reason to the currency, right? The world is done well. I mean, it's a couple years old. It's a little dated, but overall, the graphics in this game are very good, right? A couple of little minor clunky things, but overall, you get vehicles, you get unlocks, you get all of these really cool effects. Dynamic events, well done. Now, let's talk about the chat. Second off, I should say. Okay, currency needs addressed. What's the point of the currency becomes a good question. The chat. I have to hit the over button to see the chat majority of the time. So I feel like this is probably one of the problems too, because even though you see players and it's very open world, there's no load screens, very smooth transition from area to area. There's no interaction going on currently in the area chat. Platform, it's already hit and miss when people will use area chat. But given the fact that nobody's trying to get together to do other like group missions, you're just running to a mission, and if it's a little harder, you hope somebody just comes along. If they were to keep the chat window or the chat box up consistently and just change it a little bit so it's more translucent, like other MMOs have, you would see people partying up to do more missions, group missions. This would be a strong fit because that's what an MMO is. An MMO is trying to get together to accomplish, something that you can't do by yourself. If you need a healer, you need a tank. They have the classes here, but they don't have a way of players properly communicating. So I feel like this is one of the major issues, is having the chat box up consistently so players can look for groups. Right? Just something very simple. The grouping in this game is not bad. But once somebody puts in chat, I should be able to go ahead, click on it, scroll up, click on their name, and throw an invite to them. It's just that simple. So I should be able to scroll up through the chat, click it, and pull them into a group. Okay? Keeping this up consistently, being able to navigate through it properly just so players can go ahead and properly group would be a huge game changer as far as organized play. Now, also with organized play, we got to talk about matchmaking. Okay, the matchmaking in this game has some major flaws here, right? Some major flaws. You have to progress in certain areas to do the content in this game. Right? But the problem of it is, even if I need to do it, I can't solo queue it. Now, I understand, for hopes of progression, you only can do quick match. But that's not good enough. If I don't need to liberate the lost, right, for my mission line, I should be able to queue something else. Now, I should be able to do a quick match to help other players get the XP, so on and so forth, especially if I have keys to unlock chests. That's great. But if I don't need it and I keep doing the same dungeon, I should be able to solo queue this. And unfortunately, I cannot. And that is one of the biggest downsides to trying to get through the storyline or trying to get in co-ops and do missions. So this needs to change as well. So this is one of these little things that's just a pain in the ass. It's just like, this game is great. I love going in these dungeons. So far, I've been in two dungeons, and I love it. I've even played them again and again because I enjoy the gameplay that much. The gameplay, it's not the question of the gameplay. It's a question of accessibility. And that's one of the problems with this setup. It's not accessible for what you need at the given time. Now, the storyline's kind of built around the show, which has been canceled. It's been canceled. So Tryon needs to just go ahead and 86 that thought that this is based on the show. Forget it. It's its individual personification now. So you can take this in any direction. You're no longer limited to the series. So with that, you can kind of go on your own way and develop the game in your own context now. So you can literally take the show and just say, okay, the show's been canceled. We're going to do our own spinoff based on the initial story and kind of have our own character development. That would be great. That would be just really, really good. Because when I take a look at the map, now we're based in California on a terraformed Earth, right? But we have, what happened to the rest of the planet? There is room for growth in the game, is what I'm saying. There is a lot of room to grow this game with potential expansions, potential other things that we can grow upon. So it's no longer limited to one area of the continent. You can open up different parts of the continent now. So there is very much a room for improvement and growth. It's just that simple. I mean, the gameplay is not bad. The movements, the ducking, everything about the game feels good. Graphically, it's appealing. It has no load screens. There's not a lot of MMOs out there that are doing this type of third person shooter game. And that's what I really like. It's in a market where there's not a lot of competition, and they could bank on this. Now, to become a sub is not really worth it in this game at the moment. Now, down the road, could it be? If they put a little bit of things, it could be. Because one of the major things that's kind of whatever is the store. You're right. I can buy key codes. You can earn key codes, but it's like the drop rate is ridiculous. So honestly, I think the capacity is a good idea, right? But you got to improve drop rate. You got to give drop rate a little bit more TLC. Right? Inventory slot, great idea, but why would I want more inventory slot if there's no reason for me to maintain, that much inventory? That becomes a question. Now, if I have other things that's being applied that I need to have more inventory, that's a great addition, right? I love the idea of the loadout slots. I wouldn't change that. Loadout slots are really good. But the problem of it is it needs to become easier to access when you're doing loadout swaps. But I love the idea. I love the premise behind loadouts. It just needs a little bit more work for being able to swap a loadout more consecutively. Okay, really, really good stuff. Also, what I would like to see are supply drops. If you're going to have a marketplace, one of the biggest problems I've noticed in the game is running out of ammo. Right? And in the most inconvenient times. And there's ammo boxes throughout the world. But if I'm in a mission and I need ammo right then and there, it'd be nice if they had it in the marketplace that I could get an airdrop call in. So literally I could get a supply drop called in right there, and I can purchase that radio transmitter in the marketplace. That is a great idea, right? Because it's not pay to win, it's just convenience. You're paying for convenience at that point. And that's what this game is. Another thing that they could also add in the marketplace is more customization towards modifications. So if I go down to, you can get weapon mods and you can get vehicle mods, but it's very limited. There's not a lot to it. Like, I feel like they could add more to the customization and bank up more just from aesthetic purposes. Just adding more customization, more ways to modify this. Big money, little things, because players want their own individualized look if they're going to be invested in a game. Right? If they're going to play it for a long time, they want customization. And if you add more customization to appeal to the customers, like decals and stuff, players will pay for that. They will. So you can make a lot more money in customization with just simple things like decals and stuff. So a lot of potential for the game. Now let's talk about group play. Besides dynamic events, there's no large group play. And PvP is well done in this game. I feel like one of the major things in PvP that I would like to see is like a fatal wound and then recovery. So basically, someone shoots you, you're at a fatal wound, you go down. Now, you have a point where somebody can recover you if they're within your vicinity. But if they're not, someone just takes the extra shot, you die. So it slows the PvP down just a tad bit, enough for more accurate play style, more dynamic play style in PvP. PvP is very good in this game. I love the maps. I love the size of it. Really, really good. And I suck at shooters. But honestly, just something like, hitting somebody with a fatal wound, allowing somebody to be recovered if they are out of that area, one more shot, killing blow. Boom. Done. Over with. You don't have to worry about balance as far as game, because you get to take your loadout into that game. That's what I like. You can use the weapons that you prefer. You can use the builds that you prefer. I really like that in this game. The PvP and the battlegrounds in this game are good. They just need a little work. The queue system needs some work, because once you queue in, you're stuck in the queue. Right? They're waiting for other players to populate, but you can't, escape the queue system. So once you've initiated it. So something simple like that needs to be addressed. But the gameplay is fun. Maps, you could always get more maps in there, more objectives instead of deathmatch. Deathmatch is fun. It always is, especially in a third-party shooter game or a third-person shooter game. But, I would like to see some objective play, some more military tactical strategies. That would be also really awesome. Seeing something like, capture the bunker and stuff, or one team has to defend, you have to cap best out of 3 wins. So one time you're defending, one time you're assaulting, and the best 2 out of 3 is going to win the game. So very, very, open mind PvP. There's a lot of ways to take PvP, especially in shooter games. So the game could be great. And as group play, they need to add like maybe 15-man content. Like some instances where basically you're going in with a squad and you have to extract something. And there are large bosses, a lot of things going on, just opportunity for group play. That's all. You don't have to make it. The game's simple, but it has potential. There's a lot of potential here. It's got a solid foundation, but it just needs a little TLC. Now, the problem of this is it just recently came out on console. But here's the deal. If they don't address some of these issues, the game's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to stay here, and people aren't going to pay to do anything. It's free to pick it up. But why is Emily going to pay for anything? Because there's nothing that's being addressed. And unless you address the issues, the game's going to stay stagnant. So for growth, you need to do minor alterations to what? To get players to play it more frequently, so then they can do what? Purchase more items to customize their characters and their gameplay experience. So for me personally, I feel like the game is a solid 7, with the potential of being a 9. Now, it's not going to be a 10 because there are a lot of problems in the market currently. But it's not, doesn't have a lot of competition, so that's a plus. In the MMO market, there's a lot of shooters that are multiplayer, but not a lot of shooters that are MMOs. So it has its own place in the market, but there are too many little things, not big things, little things holding this title back. And I think one of the major problems in the past was it was based upon the television series. Now, since that is no longer the case, they can run with this as they please. And honestly, I feel like Tryon could put a little bit more money, a little bit of TLC, and this game could be a head turner in so many ways. So I'm just giving you guys my thoughts, giving you my feedback. Hopefully Tryon watches this video. I don't know if they will, and take my suggestions into consideration. Because if they do, I promise, Defiance 2050 in the next coming year will be a game that more players will play more frequently. All right. So once again, I'm Mysticraven. This is Mystics MMOs. I want to thank you guys for watching. And once again and always, have a nice day.